We spent 1 week exploring Lake Atitlán, which is considered one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. It's our favorite place to visit in Guatemala, and on our way back to Guatemala City, we often stop in Tecpán. Tecpán is a city in the department of Chimaltenango, and it's known for having some of the best restaurants serving traditional Guatemalan cuisine. Today we will eat at one of the most popular restaurants in Tecpán, and I'll introduce you to a few traditional foods and drinks in Guatemala. Buenos dias, amigos, and welcome back to my channel. As many of you might know, we live in Guatemala City and we take road trips all over this incredible country. Today, we are driving back home to Guatemala City after spending an incredible week here at Lake Atitlán. But on our way back home, we are going to stop somewhere, and this place in Guatemala has some of the best restaurants and some of the most incredible food. Today we are on our way to Tecpán and then on our way back home. So we just arrived at Tecpán and we are outside of the restaurant called La Cabaña de Don Robert. This is a family-owned restaurant with a lot of history and traditions. They're actually one of the original restaurants here in Tecpán. So we just sat down to eat. They have this really beautiful outside area. There's an indoor area as well in the restaurant. Sometimes it gets a little bit chilly in Tecpán. That's why I'm wearing this jacket. So you can either have the option to sit outside or inside if you come here. Also, this part of Guatemala is very famous for chorizo. So that's like a sausage. So in Guatemala, some of the traditional food are stews, and you will see that all over the country. So for example, in the Caribbean coast, you'll find a lot of seafood stews. Here, you'll find a lot of chicken, beef, and pork style stews. So we ordered 2 different stews with chicken because both of us eat a lot of chicken. And the great thing about it is my husband and I like to share a lot of the same food. So we're gonna be sharing our dishes today. And as they come out, I'm gonna explain it to you so you can learn about traditional Guatemalan food. Okay guys, I'm super excited to try their special juices from this restaurant. They're called Jugos La Cabaña. These are family-made juices and they've been a tradition at this restaurant from the beginning. They created this mango juice and this wild blackberry juice. Here in Guatemala, it's called mango and mora. Okay, so now for the taste test. Trying the wild blackberry first. That's delicious, refreshing. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's really, really good. Now this is the mango. Wow, that's amazing. They're both delicious, but if I had to pick one, it would be this one. So sorry to my husband, but I'm stealing your drink. So we ordered this as a starter. It's tortillas con queso, so tortillas with cheese. And this is a special type of cheese that you can find here in Guatemala. It's called queso chanco, and it's from a village called Navaja in Quiché. And it takes 2 months to make this type of cheese. I've actually never tried it before, but it's been on my list to try here in Guatemala for a while. Okay guys, so we have our food, the main course. These are both stews, as I mentioned. This is pepián. It's typically made with chicken in Guatemala, but you can also get it with beef or pork. I ordered it with chicken. And this is one of the most recognizable dishes here in Guatemala. Most traditional restaurants will sell this. You will often see this at markets as well. If you come to Guatemala, I highly recommend trying this. So the sauce of pepián is really thick and rich. It's delicious. And it's made with roasted seeds, spices, and vegetables. And so this one is called caldo de gallina. So the broth is not as thick, but it's very, very delicious. And it also comes with, as you can see, rice, vegetables, and then gallina, which is a hen. So it has a different kind of taste compared to a traditional chicken. It's a little bit more tough, a little bit more chewy, and it tastes really delicious in soups and stews. And these types of vegetables I've actually only ever seen in Guatemala. These vegetables are called huisquillo and huicoy, and you can always find them at the local markets here in Guatemala. They're kind of like root vegetables, and they're very delicious in these stews as well. And of course, you can't forget about the tortillas. So here in Guatemala, with most traditional meals, you're going to be offered tortillas, and especially with these types of caldos. The tortillas here in Guatemala are made from corn, and they're much smaller and more thick compared to the big flour tortillas that we usually know about in the United States, because those are usually typically Mexican style tortillas. Although you can find those big flour style tortillas here in Guatemala as well, along the Caribbean coast and in departments like Chiquimula. So now I'm having a drink of my favorite beer here in Guatemala. If you want to try the local beer, you can ask for a gallo or a cabro. Those are like the two most popular beers here in Guatemala. I've tried both, but this one is my favorite. So Roberto here, he's one of the owners, he was just telling me that they make their own jellies on a wood stove. So we're gonna have to buy one of these before we leave here and try this, because I'm sure it's absolutely delicious. And then he was also telling me that they have a typical type of cookie here. It's like a galleta, right? And of course in Guatemala, they're called champurradas. In Guatemala, they're called champurradas. But here, they're a little bit different and they have a different name.
These ones are bigger and a little bit thicker.
Bigger and thicker.
That's like the typical champurrada of Tecpán. And here, we also in Tecpán, we have herrajes.
Herrajes, okay.
Which would be the same dough, but it's in a way of horseshoe. So it's herraduras or herrajes. Okay. That's typical from Tecpán.
Okay, so this is where the ladies are making the tortillas in the restaurant. And yes, they are so delicious here. One of the things I want to point out is that the tortillas in Tecpán and just in the Highlands in general in Guatemala can be different than other places. I know I mentioned that before, but I also want to mention it's different here compared to Guatemala City. So we live in the capital of Guatemala, and the tortillas there usually are more white. Here you'll notice that they're more yellow, and the owner of the restaurant was telling me that sometimes they will use the black corn to make the tortillas. So they're black corn tortillas, but they actually look a little bit of a mix between like black and blue. They're kind of like a bluish tint, but sometimes you'll see those types of tortillas here as well. Okay guys, so after receiving that tour, we decided to eat some dessert because these look delicious. So the owner was telling me that this apple pie with almonds is their most popular dessert here. Looking forward to trying this. I'm splitting this with my husband, and we're also gonna split this. This is a pie with different types of tropical fruits, and we also ordered hot chocolate. If you come to Guatemala and you go to a traditional restaurant, I highly recommend getting hot chocolate. And one of the things that you'll learn here if you take a chocolate workshop is that chocolate originally came from this part of the world. It originally came from Mexico and Guatemala because the Maya indigenous people live in both countries, and they are the ones who first initially cultivated chocolate. So here at the restaurant, they also have a plant nursery, and in Guatemala, these are called vivero. So you might see that word sometimes when you're driving around, and that means that you can go there and just buy some plants. And Guatemala is nicknamed the land of eternal spring. So if you come here, you'll also see that there's just like a lot of flowers, especially in the market, and you'll see a lot of these viveros just around the country. So I was talking to the owner of the restaurant, and he was telling me that they started this restaurant back in 2003. And up here, they actually have some photos of the restaurant when it first opened. And he was telling me that sometimes it actually gets so cold here, and you can see that in the photographs, that there'll be ice all over covering the ground. And that's because in this part of Guatemala, the elevation is very high. So that's why I'm wearing a jacket. So a lot of foreigners don't realize that parts of Guatemala actually get pretty cold. It's not just tropical and humid everywhere in the country. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We hoped you enjoyed this, when we hope that when you come to Guatemala that you enjoy Guatemalan food as much as we do. And we highly recommend this restaurant. Those desserts that we just had were some of the best desserts we've had in Guatemala, and their traditional stews are amazing. So you have to order one of the caldos. And they also have a lot of other traditional foods, and like I said, vegetarian options as well. So you guys, we are traveling all over Guatemala. Sometimes our videos are much more crazier than this, with lots of different celebrations, fireworks, and things like that. And sometimes we're just trying to chill out and show you guys some of the best food and places where you can eat in Guatemala. So if you enjoy this type of content, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below and let me know what you think of this video. Thanks again for watching. Adios.